we do have a special guest this morning as we talk all things rugby, and we're centering on the Harare Rugby province, and we've got the new chairperson, Lindiwe Munerenyu, joining us, and we're going to be talking to her about her tenure so far. There's been a lot of things, exciting things happening around rugby in Zimbabwe, but at the very heart of rugby in Zimbabwe is Harare Rugby. I think a lot of the progress that we see that even then cascades into our national teams. The heartbeat of that usually starts at Harare Rugby. And Lindiwe, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Morning Rush. There's been a lot of excitement around the game of rugby, obviously, with our senior men's team being crowned African champions. But, you know, it's not just something that starts at the top. The things that are happening on the ground at district level, zonal level, and even at provincial level. So first of all, I think this is the first time we've had an interaction since you were elected the chairperson. So I'll start with my congratulations and maybe just your reaction on what it meant to you to be entrusted with that responsibility to lead probably the biggest province in terms of output in Zimbabwe, Harare Rugby province.
Well, I think that came as a surprise for me. I wasn't really expecting it. But I think the timing was perfect. We needed a new leader. I think we need a new blood, and we're always talking about this in the rugby circles to say, maybe we need a new leader that comes in with, you know, fresh new ideas, not affiliated to anything. So I thought it was the perfect time to put my name up and, you know, put myself out there to lead.
All right, new leader, new broom. So, I mean, what were some of the early things that you decided, you know what, as somebody who's been involved in the game, I know you've played the game professionally as well, represented the country, so you have that unique understanding of, you know, the players' interest. Is that something that you're centering or focusing on in your tenure as chairperson of Harare Rugby?
I'm definitely centering on that. I want us to have direct benefits as players, especially at club level, because we are all playing it as a recreational sport. We as the players are the ones paying to show up at rugby, but it should be the other way around. You should be rewarded for all the hard work you put in, whether it's at club level, at national level. It should always benefit, but at the moment it's not. So that's what I want to focus on, to make it benefit the players.
So in terms of that, professionalizing the game, especially at club level, and maybe even looking at Harare Rugby Province in particular, what are some of the things that you think would help us get there in that regard?
I think we need a lot of corporate buy-in. And the fans, you know, if the fans were to increase, just like we see at cricket, I think the more the noise, the more, you know, people come into the rugby culture. The culture used to be there, but I don't know where it got lost along the way. So we want to bring that back. We need a lot of corporates to come back to rugby.
But looking at it as a province, obviously the big focus from, you know, a general populist perspective has been the success of the Sables, and maybe if you were to rewind back to the last 2 or 3 years, the junior Sables, the lady Sables have also done well in their own right. How then are you planning to piggyback on that success to try and then bring that corporate buy-in to sort of trickle down from national level, where there seems to be some relatively good support? Yes, it could be better, but how do you plan to piggyback on that so that, you know, we can come and be at Harare Sports Club or Old Georgians or Old Harareans on a Saturday, Sunday, and be able to appreciate and see where it starts? Because it has to start at club rugby for us to be successful at national level.
And that's true. I mean, for you to have national players, where do they come from? Clubs. So if we can't put any buy-in to the clubs, how are we able to develop them to become national players? Because, you know, us as the clubs, we scout players from scratch. So if we can't actually afford to do that, how are you going to have a national team? So I think that when, you know, we're looking at corporate buy-in for the national team, we should also incorporate, especially Harare province, because that's where most of the players come from. We should be, you know, in the talks to say that for that to be successful, Harare province also has to be involved.
All right. And you talked about the need for more corporate buy-in, but I do understand, I think for the last couple of seasons now, you've had an all-weather friend in terms of Paramount Garments sponsoring not just the main league, but even trickling down to the under-20 league. How important has been that support in terms of making sure that you guys are where you are right now, and maybe just give us insights into what has been happening so far in terms of how that has impacted on the way you're able to run the various leagues that you have as a Harare province.
I think Paramount came at the perfect time where we needed someone that would say, you know what, I'm going to take all your direct costs for all clubs to say, you don't need, to be paying for the ambulance, the refs, because that's what we need when we're playing games. So Paramount has been very important to us because they've enabled us to focus on the play. Yes, as much as, it may not be what the clubs may necessarily want all in all, but it has helped to actually create a league. I mean, if you look at under 20s, they've really developed, if you look at the boys, they've gone to become the champions in the last 2 years. And that came from having the league to begin with. And Paramount came in to say, we want to be part of that, and it's really been helpful to have a title sponsor. We still are looking for sponsors that focus on clubs, the direct costs of transport, lunches. But at the moment, we know that when we're playing for prize money. That is something to wake up to say, I want to be the named, winner of the Paramount Garments League. So they come at a perfect time. Because I don't know if any clubs would have wanted to be footing those bills every single week, to make it work. So we are appreciative of them because, they've really helped us to be where we are.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot now. You were talking about how you're obviously trying to make sure that people come back to the rugby fold. I know there's a strong affinity for the game here. I know there's some games happening this weekend. If somebody's like, all right, you know what, I've forgotten that I could go to a Harare Sports Club, OH or OGs to watch a game. I mean, maybe just entice them on what they can expect and as they plan, because we need to plan for the long weekend.
That's
to make sure that they also put a rugby on the menu.
Okay, so this weekend, one of the biggest rivalries in rugby, I think even at schoolboy rugby, we've seen St. George's versus PE has always been big. These rivalries never go away, even at old boys level.
Yeah.
So we have Old Georgians, which is, the old boys for St. George's. And we've got the old boys for Prince Edward, which is Old Hararians. They're playing against each other. That's the main match. But we still have Pitbulls versus Harare Sports Club. So these are some of the matches to look forward to this weekend.
Where are these matches being played? Is it Saturday, Sunday, where?
So we play our matches mostly on Saturdays. And we rotate from Old Georgians, Old Hararians or Harare Sports Club. So this weekend we are at Old Georgians.
Old Georgians,
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Before I let you go, maybe just your message to people in Harare and beyond in terms of maybe the support that they can give you guys as Harare Rugby Province, and just a clarion call for them to come and watch the games.
I mean, we want to bring rugby culture back. Rugby is fun. We are open for business. We have food, music, we've got the rugby, we've got the people. We want everyone to come back because the enjoyment will be there. The young people are now leading. So anyone who's interested in just putting in something at corporate level, at whatever level, we are open for business. And we encourage everyone to come back to the rugby culture. It's the place to be. That's your entertainment for Saturdays. It used to be, and it needs to come back to becoming the place to be on a Saturday.
I'm not going to say anything to mess that up. So you're headed for yourself. Lindiwe joining us this morning. Some big games are lined up. OGs is the place to be on Saturday. The big one, Old Georgians are taking on Old Hararians. So I know some of you are like, schools rugby's done and dusted. Well, the old boys, they're strapping up on Saturday, and I'm sure it's going to be a humdinger of a match.